In the final section of the speaking test, speaking part 3, the examiner will ask you some more complex questions related to the topic you spoke about in speaking part 2. All right. The questions that they ask in part 3, the topics are spread among more people. So speaking part 2 is about your life. Describe a place in your life. Describe a thing in your life. Describe a time in your life. But in speaking part 3, your examiner will ask you about something similar to what you described in your life, but that will relate to more people. So, for example, if you have to talk about a book in your life, in speaking part 3, you will talk about books in other people's lives. Should children read books? Why do adults read less books now than they used to? You see, it's still books, but it is about books and other people. Speaking part 3 is a test of your ability to talk about other people, to talk about the world and more general knowledge, right? Everyone knows about themselves. You know what you think, you know what you feel, and you know your memories of the past. So part 1 and part 2 should actually be very easy. Speaking part 3 may be a bit more difficult. However, if you continue with our course and you follow along, you'll see that speaking part 3 appears to be a test of your general knowledge. However, that is not what speaking part 3 tests. Speaking part 3 tests your lexical resource. So it's about vocabulary, right? And it tests your grammatical range and accuracy, right? You have to use different tenses when you talk about different people, right? You can say, I like candy and I ate dinner. But if you're talking about other people should go to the store. Other people can do blah, blah, blah in the future. If they do, then blah, blah, blah. However, if they don't, blah, 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 something bad might happen. The reason for this thing is because people might have been lazy in the past, right? Your speaking part 3 is where you can show your more grammatical range and show your lexical resource, okay? As well as some cohesion and coherence. Because speaking part 3 is a conversation between you and the examiner, it can be a little difficult to go off subject and lose cohesion. All right, so that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's good because the examiner is talking to you. You're just going to stay on topic. You're not going to lose your cohesion. So speaking part 3 might actually be a bit scary, but again, because you're in this course, we're going to guide you on how to answer every speaking part 3 question. And here's a hint. Answering speaking part 3 questions is exactly the same as answering speaking part 2 questions, which are exactly the same as answering speaking part 1 questions, which are exactly the same as answering every question in your entire life. So there's nothing to fear with speaking part 3. Just be prepared. Okay, so be prepared instead part 1 to talk about what you think about something. Be prepared for part 2, where you describe something you have done, some place you have been, or something you had in the past. In the past. Okay? And then then be prepared for speaking part 3, where you will talk about what other people should or could or might do. All right. What happens if they do that, and what happens if they don't? All right. So speaking test part 3 is where you talk about other people and the consequences of their actions. All right.